Welcome back, everyone, to another episode on the Titancraft server. Here in Season 9, we have the Indiana Jones game. We've done lots of videos going over all the levels, playthroughs, secrets and raiders, bunch of different stuff. But today is the last video for this season, and it is going over the secrets of the last Crusade level. So I'll show you all 5 of the artifacts, all 27 of the adventure tokens, and all of the secret rooms and references that you can find in the level. Note that the adventure tokens are starting at number 55 because there are 27 per each level, 1, 2, 3. And since it's the last level, it is starting at 55. The Temple of Doom level didn't get totally finished before the end of the season, so we're actually making a second version of the game on the current season of Titancraft. So stay tuned for videos about that as I work on the project, and trust me, the game's going to be even better there. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the last Crusade level and show off all of the secrets you can find in the level. Let's go. Here we are in the first area of the last Crusade level, the lovely little city of Venice. We got all these nice, beautiful houses, the library, nice sky, a little bridge, and some waterways. Super duper pretty. And we're going to start off with the first adventure token. The first token is immediately here on the right. And if you go through the door here, there's another door. As part of the playthrough, this is one of the hints to find the correct button to open up the library. But if you go ahead and go inside the door and close it behind you, you will find a Grian/Tango head combination with a barrel that has adventure token 55. The next adventure token is actually up there. You can see it. There's a little barrel up there. But how do you get up there, you might ask? Well, there are some levers here that are decorative, except for this one, right? So this one does nothing, but if you flip this lever, it will actually give you a block. You can also do this just using the stair railings if you so desire, but the point is you need to get over to the top of that wall. So let's go ahead and use this block. That's probably the easiest way. Get a little boost, crouch, more crouching, jump up through the powdered snow, and we are up on the roof for adventure token 56. All right, next up, we're going to go to the cafe sort of area in front of the library. And you can see there's a bunch of tables and chairs, and they all have references to different Hermitcraft members. So we have Rendog's Recliner. A lot of them are alliterations, so R and R, Rendog's Recliner. We have Cubfan's Comfy Camping Chair. And last but not least, we have Etho's Snack Spot. If you watch Ethos Lab's videos, he always says, grab your snacks, so that's the reference there.
This is unbelievable. I have a sign in my inventory. What a coincidence. You know what we should do? Let's write something that will make us smile. How about, go get... No, not that. No. Yeah, you are. Yeah, okay. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Perfect. It says, go get your snacks.
And we have an Etho Tango combination head on this chair as a little Easter egg. The reason we have all of these heads is because this is Tango Tech's Patreon server, so we had an event where all of the other Hermitcraft members had Tango Tech heads, so that's why there's all these combinations. I know they're weird, but they're super fun. This text is actually a hint of how to get the next adventure token. So Etho's Snack Spot is a hint to go ahead and grab your snacks. So if you go ahead and stand on top of Etho's Snack Spot and you eat a snack, eat a piece of food, there is a calibrated skulk sensor that shoots up the adventure token. So here it is. Bam, adventure token 57. The next collectible is actually our first secret area. And let me say, compared to the Raiders level, there are way more secret areas. In the last Crusade level, so many more and so much bigger. So this is the first secret area. Some of them are references to the Indiana Jones movies. Some of them are just references to things that I love, but this one is an Indiana Jones scene. So you can see here, this orange building has scaffolding here as the window. And if we go inside, there's also scaffolding for a second window with a fake sky behind it. So pretty simple, just jump up in the window and hold shift, and you should go down into this area. It's super simple, but this is one of the opening scenes from The Last Crusade after the young Indiana Jones flashback. Indy comes to this dark, stormy area rains coming down on this big ship, and he has to try and collect the treasure that was stolen. So if we go ahead and go on top of here, you can see there's a little captain's quarters, just some little decorations in here, and a sign that says, rule number 1, never hide your treasure in the captain's quarter. That's our hint that it's not in the captain's quarter. It must be somewhere else. It's up here in the barrel on top. So here is Adventure Token 58. It was super fun to make a bunch of secret rooms like this, and some of them are a lot more complicated. But this was my way of representing all of the Indiana Jones scenes I missed, as well as providing a lot of super cool secrets for people to find. Next up, we're headed to the library on the right side. You can see the library is crumbling. There's stairs, walls, that sort of thing. If you come to the back here, there is a barrel just through the stairs, which is Adventure Token 59. All right, we have another secret area up next, another scene from The Last Crusade, and it's actually the opening scene with the desert train chase sequence. This is hiding the first artifact of this level, and if you're not aware, the 5 artifacts are much harder to get than the adventure tokens, and they usually require multiple steps. So first, we're actually going to go into the Venice Canal. There should be a barrel around here. I believe it's under this trapdoor. Yep, here we go. So this says take only 4 and can be crafted into a useful item. So we're going to go ahead and take 4 of the leather as instructed and head over to this White House over here. Underneath these trapdoors, you'll find a light and a crafting table. And there's really only one thing that you can craft with 4 leather, and that is leather boots. Once we've crafted our leather boots, we're going to go ahead and put them on and go into the red building in the corner. Inside the red building, there is a door here that you press a button to get a hint. You can also press a button to get out, but actually there is some powdered snow immediately above the door. And if you know leather boots, you know that you can use them to float up powdered snow. So let's go ahead and press the button and jump at the same time that the door is opening or closing so that we can get on top of the door. Here we go. We got it. So once you get up on top of the door, you're not going to freeze because of the leather. You just go ahead and hold spacebar to go up to the top. Once we're at the top, we're here in this wonderful little secret room. You can see these grassy plains are from the sequence. We got a very nice train. I love this train. It's super cute. And of course, we have the desert with the arch red rock representing the Boy Scout camping location from the introduction to the movie. I'm also particularly proud of the train tracks. I feel like they're just perfect as well. Inside the barrel here on the end of the train, we can find artifact, the Cross of Coronado. Next up, we're here still in Venice in the library section. Wonderful section here. I'm super proud of how this came together. This almost perfectly mirrors how it looks in the movie, or at the very least, how it looks in the Lego Indiana Jones game, with the bookshelves on the right, a spiral staircase, a chandelier to swing across, and of course, X marks the spot, and the stained glass window. So beautiful build, lots of secrets held in here, of course. The first one is over here on the left. You can find a lone book hiding here in the shelf. It's hard to see because it's in the corner next to some of these other books, but if you go ahead and grab it, you put it back, it's not going to do anything, but if you grab it and put it in a different spot than the 6th one, it will open a secret area right here. This is instructions on how to move the book back so it resets the puzzle for the next person, but you can find Adventure Token 60 inside. The next collectible is also near this wall of bookshelves over by the spiral staircase. You just come over here. There are some mud bricks here in between the bookshelves. You go ahead and take that off, flip the trap door. You should be able to just barely open this barrel. Adventure Token 61. This one is diabolical. It is really just all the brown colors blend in, and it's this specific angle, but nevertheless, super interesting secret. The next couple secrets are all over here in between the bookshelves. Flip the trap doors on the side of the bookshelves so that we have a way to get up to the top. Nice. Come around here, and you can see there's some trap doors here above the bookshelves. So if you go ahead and flip this one over here, find our way over, we have a trapdoor that flips down. Awesome. The way to get in this hole where the secret is to be halfway between the trapdoor so that you still have something beneath your feet, but you also can go under this trapdoor. So if we go ahead and flip it, we are prone. And we just go ahead and hold forward. We should be able to just barely squeeze in this hole over to the barrel for adventure token 62. The next adventure token is honestly pure evil, but it had to be done. I had a bunch of things I wanted to use, like, the bookshelves, trapdoors, that sort of thing. And this right here, maps, it just seemed perfect at home here. There are trapdoors around it. That's pretty nice. I guess we could use these, try and prone through. Well, it's not going to work over there. There's not really a way to get through the maps by using the trapdoors, but if you just click through the map here, adventure token 63 is just waiting on the other side of this map. All right, the next two are very difficult and both have secret rooms associated with them. So let's go ahead and start with the adventure token and then move to the artifact. Both of them start upstairs, so we're going to go ahead and move up the spiral staircase, and we need to parkour on these bits to get over to the other side. Go and jump, shift, jump, shift, jump, shift, and jump over to this area. You can see there are some reading stations. Those are for the artifact. We'll get to that in a minute. But over here on this side of the sign, we have a don't even try to write here yada. That's a little message from me. Little troublemaker yada always feels like finding a sign to write on, so I had to make sure to let him know. What we're looking for is actually these bookshelves right here that have books on them. You can see they have different things. Interacting with them doesn't seem to make a difference. Well, there's a specific way to do it. You actually need to interact with the first slot on both of them in a row. So if I do the first slot and then this one, not going to do anything. We need to specifically do the first slot and the first slot on both. So take the first one, take the first one. Awesome. I feel like I should have had a hint for that around here somewhere. That was a really obtuse way to get it, but it opens up this door. So if we go here, it says to put the books back, and we have tridents. This is really strange. So take only one. We have an unbreaking and mending trident. Let's go ahead and grab one of them. And if you read the papers, it says take only one. Tridents can only be used in the prismarine room, and tridents can be enchanted. Let's go out, put the books back, and head downstairs. So we were told we can use the trident only in the prismarine room. I don't see a prismarine room. Must find that. And it can be enchanted. So those are our two bucket list things to do. If we go ahead and go here, boom, we have an enchanted book, and it has Riptide on it. So all of these books on these shelves all have Riptide. So all you need is one, and you have your trident. This painting here, you actually use in the main playthrough. So if you come back here, and you open the doors, or the trap doors here, there are anvils on either side. So these anvils will supply you with the ability to go ahead and enchant the trident. So here we go, we're adding Riptide to our trident. Boom. So now we've enchanted our trident, so how do we find the prismarine room and use it? Well, we're actually going to come back over to the maps, but it's not going to be the big map, it's actually the small map. There is a 1 block area of air behind this map with a button on the side. I believe the button's actually on the bottom, so at the top of this block. So you need to stand just at the perfect angle to click through the edge of the map and click the button. Bam, I can't believe I got that first try. It looks like my double piston extender might have had some redstone get broken. So we're gonna have to go ahead and break through this, but I will see about fixing it. So here we are on the other side of that secret door from clicking the button through the map. Obviously, this is the prismarine room, because everything is prismarine. So if we go ahead and come through here, it says ensure you have full hearts before you ascend, and we have a pool of water. So obviously, this is a really big tube, and you need to have a Riptide Trident to get up. So you could find this room on accident, but if you don't have a Riptide Trident, there's absolutely no way of getting up there with the resources you have in the game. Charge it up, and boom, we are here in the middle of this wonderful forest. This forest is inspired by Lord of the Rings and was not actually built by me. This was built by Gonzo on our server, who volunteered to make a secret room. I said it could just be super small. but he got carried away and went overboard. So we have a very beautiful forest here, a little bit of skulk in the ceiling. So it's meant to be a Lord of the Rings tribute. So here we have a Frodo was here, this nice, interesting looking fountain. I believe the fountain is a direct reference to the pool of Galadriel that she looks into. Although in the movie and the book, it's actually just like a really small bowl of water. He just went super extra with his interpretation. So here we have basically this ginormous room to go look around and try to find a collectible. Yes, I know this is probably the hardest thing to find in the entire game, but there's nothing I can do about it now. So if you poke around the forest long enough, you'll find a tree over here in the corner. It has a trapdoor. So if you click this, there's a lectern that says, "It's been a long and arduous journey, and this place has been a much needed rest. I heard this old poem recently, and I just can't get it out of my head." It goes on to basically describe a poem from Lord of the Rings. So you can pause and read that if you like. I'll go slowly through the pages here. All from Samwise Gamgee. And next to the poem, we have Adventure Token 64. There's also an outhouse over here. It's unenchant your trident and flush it down the toilet. Unenchant your trident. Let's go ahead and do that now. Bam. Took it off and put it in the barrel. This will feed it back into where the other tridents were and where we got them earlier, which is really important because tridents are really hard to get in survival, and this game was built entirely in survival. So if multiple people were coming through, I really needed to make sure the tridents did not get wasted and got reused. But yeah, that was such a long explanation for how to get one freaking adventure token, but I wasn't kidding when I said we went overboard with the Last Crusade secret rooms and some of the collectibles. All right, the final collectible in the library and in the first third of the Last Crusade, the Venice area, is over here by the reading stations. So once you go up the stairs and you parkour your way over, there are 5 reading stations. If you take a look, they all are named after different pop culture references. This one is Star Wars, so Tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. We have an Avatar The Last Airbender book. We have the B-movie script, some dialogue from Elden Ring's DLC, and then some from Andor. Flip through these, you can see it is literally quotations from these movies or books or shows. Water, earth, fire, air. B-movie script. It really is just the B-movie script, but I think you get the point. It's all just text from these movies, and you might be wondering, how on earth should I know what to do with this? Well, these 5 things are actually a combination lock. So by turning some of these lecterns to specific pages, 3 would be the number for that one, 4 for this one, so on and so forth, to put in a combination that will unlock a secret room. How do you know what the combination is? That's a great question. There are actually books and lecterns hidden around the library that will give you the combination. So just like there are 5 hints for the main puzzle you do during the playthrough, there are also 5 harder to find hints for the artifact. The first one is actually a freebie. It's just right here. So if you go and read this lectern, it says Sith, page 5. And it has dark blue text. This lectern has dark blue text. We go and read it. Sith has to be from Revenge of the Sith, right? So that lectern basically told us this one is page 5. Now we need to go and find the other 4 to make the right combination. The next easiest one is probably right here. It says All Star by Smash Mouth. If you go ahead and flip through the pages, it is literally the song. But if you get all the way to the end of the book, page 15 here unlocks a secret door just right here that has another lectern. So I figure most people will read the lectern and they'll flip through it, but they probably won't go to the end. So if you go ahead and flip to the end, you'll actually find this one right here. This one is Honey with a gold text color, page 9. So if we go back over here, gold text is most like the orange, and this is from B-movie. Honey, B-movie, that makes sense. Let's go to page 9. So there's one lectern there, one behind this secret door. The next easiest one is also in this same area. You can see there's these bookshelves here piled up. It's kind of hard to get back here because the stairs are on an angle, but if you crouch jump up here, you can find another lectern. This is pink. It's called Elemental, page 2. So this station is pink. That book over there was pink. It was called Elemental, and this has Avatar: The Last Airbender. Elements totally makes sense. And it was page 2, so we're turning this one to page 2. So we have the first 3. The first 3 are definitely the easiest. The purple one, 4, and the white or cyan one, 5, are definitely the hardest ones to find. So the next one that I think is the second hardest to find, you can find actually here at the front. Over on the right, this is a hint for the main puzzle. So we're actually going to use the other side, which has trapdoors. You can use these to get pretty high. So let's go ahead and jump here. And we can go ahead and jump, click all the way up to the top here. So we're really high up, probably couldn't get up here any other way other than, on this bookshelf and over. But either way, we can go ahead and flip this. And only from this specific angle can you see a lectern, and click on it for Blood Oath here in purple. And it's page number 3. So Blood Oath, purple, page 3. So here's the purple one. This is Warrior's Promise from Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree. So if you actually read it, it's curse you, Baal. I hereby vow, oath, blood oath. This is definitely the match. So let's go ahead and set it to page 3. All right, that's 4 of the 5. I realize that you can probably just flick through the book and get the last one by chance. But if for some reason one of those first 4 are really hard for you to find and you need another option, come through the painting here with a skeleton on the back wall. Once again, this is something you see in the normal playthrough. However, of course, there's anvils here. We used those earlier. But if you flip up, there are also some oak planks. Most people would not question these. If you right click on this, nothing. Right click here. This one is actually a lectern. This one is one of the most diabolically hidden things. But, luckily you only really need to find 4 of these 5. So I didn't feel too bad putting this hard thing in. Click on it. It's light blue. Sacrifice. Page 8. So we got a light bluish here on station 5, and it's Luthen's monologue from the Andor TV show about sacrifice. One of my favorite monologues in TV. Turn it to page 8 as it said. And since we found all of the right places to make the combination, this secret door has opened. So let's go through, climb down the ladder here, and oh boy, do we have a by hand in survival map art here of Wally and Eva. It looks absolutely fantastic. I just thought it was the perfect thing to show off and have as a cool little Easter egg to find. Open the barrel and find the artifact, the Crusader's shield. Whew. Finally made it through all of Venice. Those last 2 were definitely a handful, but I really had to make sure there was something hard enough for people that were looking to find every possible collectible. We move on to the second of the 3 areas in the last Crusade level. The first area, of course, was Venice, but here we are. The castle area is the second area. So let's get started on the collectibles. First, I just want to acknowledge that the whole theming of this was super inspired by Decked Out. Of course, Tango Tech made that game. Here's his Dungeon Master head from Decked Out. Everything just seemed to fit the vibe from that. We have a reference to the Whack-A-Lite coupons here on the server where you kill one of our moderators if you have one of these. This is just my interpretation of how they're made via alchemy. I just thought it was super fun to make this a Decked Out style room. Of course, Indiana Jones also comes here for a castle, but it was kind of a twofold purpose for me. So the first collectible is actually here on the platform that you land on when you first come in. You can see there's some water here. It's blocking a barrel that has Adventure Token 65. The next adventure token is over here on the right side of the bed. You can see that there are a few different areas you can jump down and look at, and specifically this one right here. I'm trying to find it. I know it's here somewhere. There it is. It's absolutely evil. It's behind this specific wall here. There's barely a corner. No one found this one. It looks like Adventure Token 66 in this sliver of a wall. I think you might be able to see it from this side. No, you can't. So yeah, hop up over by the bed. Get onto the wall. There's a tiny sliver of barrel that you can click on. All right, the next one actually has a secret room. So we're going to go ahead and use the trapdoors to climb up, kind of like the library. And you can see all of these have trapdoors on top. But this one specifically has 2 trapdoors that open up to a secret area. So if you hop down, climb down the ladders, we have a nice little flooded area. Here lies Sir Richard with some Crusader shields. This is the coffin of Sir Richard that you find underneath the library. So this is actually underneath the library. I figured it was a clever little nod to come down here and you find Sir Richard's tomb. Part of his sarcophagus, of course, is adventure token 67. All right, the last thing we have in the first area of the castle is actually using the library. You can see there's an enchanting table here. It does actually have a use. No, we're not enchanting anything. We're actually going to head over to this long hallway. And if you hop up here, you can see there is a barrel. And this barrel has a limit of 16 ender pearls per run, and you throw these ender pearls at enchanting tables. If you do this just right, you should be able to just barely glitch through. So let's go ahead and use one. I think we did it. So I haven't touched anything. I'm just going to press W and I fall right through. Super tricky. I'm sure a lot of people attempted it. I'm not sure if anyone found it. So really unique, not a full block. You can use ender pearls to glitch through. So we have a Hermitcraft server reference for this secret room. It is Scar's smallest chest monster. Good times the Scar always has really big chest monsters, all the unorganization. And of course, we have a Tango Tech version of Scar. Of course, everyone would think that they have to look through all of the different chests to find the right one that has the artifact, but it's actually just here in the barrel. We have artifact Archimedes dial. Looks like one person found this one. It should let us out right here if we press the button. Boom. Super unique way to find an artifact. I thought that was super fun. All right, once we're past sort of that enchanted area in the castle, we're here in the castle kitchen. Cute little kitchen, lots of little food items. It was my birthday in July and have a little pie here from someone that was very sweet. So thought I'd put it here to remember. And of course, all these little cake heads, pancakes, all the good stuff. So when you first come through the door from the magic area, you're greeted by these couple counters. And this is where the next adventure token is. Actually, if you come under here, you can see this counter is blocking stuff off. This, I know it's evil, but here we are. It looks similar to the stone. It's not actually a barrel. It's a backwards gray shulker box with adventure token 68. So adventure token 68, man, looks like no one found this one either. All right, the next adventure token should be pretty easy. It's up here. You can see that there are trapdoors all around the base and also a trapdoor up here. This has adventure token 69. So the next adventure token is actually also in this main long dining table area. If you come over here next to the pumpkin on the wall, you can see there's actually a barrel hanging out on the side next to the wall indent. If we click that, we actually have a green concrete powder, a lime concrete powder. It says can be thrown onto pressure plates. That's kind of an odd thing. Well, you can actually throw items through paintings. So this specific painting actually has a pressure plate behind it. So if we come up here and we throw it there, it's holding down a pressure plate and gives us the access to this barrel. No one found this one. Adventure token 70. Also over here, right next to the pumpkin barrel, is this lever holding a lantern. If you go ahead and flick it, it will open up this secret area. So flick it. We have adventure token 71. All right, the last thing in the second section of the castle area here in the dining room is actually behind this painting here, but it requires that you do a lot of steps in order to get it. It is an artifact after all. So this has some fire, it looks like, on here. That is supposed to be a hint that you need fire for these candles, and that the fire is part of the puzzle. In order to get this, of course, you're going to need a potion of fire resistance, which you craft as part of the main puzzle in the room. In fact, there are actually hints here on the back of these signs. Stone buttons blend in a bit too well. That's super helpful for the puzzle. This one, sir, this is a Wendy's, don't jump on the table. That helps you get another one. And this one right here is fishing rods can light candles. So the other two help you with the main puzzle, but this one is telling you that a fishing rod can light this candle. However, there's no fishing rod to be found here, so there's actually a little something you gotta do with the lava. Use our potion of fire resistance. We need to go through the wall as normal and come into the third area. This is the chest room. We'll go over it in a minute. However, if you come over here to the storage area, there should be string that can be used to craft a fishing rod. So let's grab 2 of those. Nothing here. Here's sticks, can be used to craft a fishing rod. So we have 3 of those. We have enough to craft a fishing rod. However, there are no crafting tables to be found in this area. And if you go past it, there's no coming back. So you actually have to go back to the other area. The reason this can be difficult is because some people won't find the fishing rod stuff or know they have to go back. So maybe they come in here, they poke around, they're looking for stuff, and then their potion time runs out. So you need to know to go back before your potion time runs out. Once we've come back through, we're going to use the crafting table that is already here and craft our fishing rod. So before the potion runs out, I need to light the candles. Well, where can I light them from? I think the lava is the only place that we can do it. There's not really a space here to like pull the thing in, right? That's not going to light them. The only way is actually from the other side. So if we keep our cursor locked on there, we kind of know where it's at, and we can cast our fishing rod through the lava to light the candles. It's really difficult, but I believe I can do it. Man, this is so much harder than I thought it was. This might actually be the hardest one in the game. Come on. That totally should have gotten it. What are you talking about? All right, there we go. I got it. Oh my gosh, it took so many tries. I had to respawn fishing rods into my inventory. Oh, there we go. Lit the candles. That is really hard. I am not making a puzzle like this again. So the fishing rod comes through the lava, lights the candles, opens the secret door here. If you know, you know. This is a secret room. Doesn't have anything to do with Indiana Jones, but it certainly is a favorite for me. If you know, you know. This is a Star Wars mini kit from the Lego Star Wars games. I know they have mini kits and others, but this is definitely like the Star Wars version. So big Star Wars mini kit room, really simple room, but man, just a special little surprise for people to find. So if you come all the way around to the back, you'll find some powdered snow. You can come straight up through that, and inside the mini kit is the artifact, probably the hardest one. Not a single person got it. The Spear of Destiny. Well, that was the 4th of 5 artifacts, so we have 1 more to go. It's going to be in the desert area, but let's go ahead and show the couple of adventure tokens here in the chest room. The first one is over here. There's a very nice armor stand here, and if you press this button, it actually swaps them, which is super cool. Just a fun little interactive thing, but also you can stand on the trapdoor as the change happens. And there we go. We just fell through. Normally you fall all the way to the bottom, but yeah, there's always a way to get out. Going through the trapdoor on the armor stand swapper brings you down to this secret room. If you open this up, it's a giant Blackstone cave, some big stalagmites, stalactites, all the good stuff. One of my good friends on the server is Gonzo, and he built a giant Blackstone cavern in the Nether. You would see it in the world tour. I'll make sure to put a card above right now. But yeah, he made this huge Blackstone cave next to my base and was just a great neighbor, helped a lot, built that Lord of the Rings secret room. So this was my little tribute to his mini game, which took place in the caves. So right here I have Like a Good Neighbor. Gonzo is there. He was a great neighbor. Insert shameless plug. He has a lot of shameless plugs. He had the Blackstone Cavern minigame, so that's what that's about. And we also have Biome Man, because for some reason he insisted on making an entirely new biome only out of like Blackstone, so that was the nickname. Here on the back of this giant stalactite stalagmite, there is adventure token 72. You can go ahead and climb the ladder when we're all done, and there's a painting that we can come out of back to the chest room. The next adventure token also has a secret room, and it is behind the chests. So if you look at these chests, there are stone bricks behind them. You might possibly glimpse a little something right there. That is a button that has 1 pixel that you can click on. I made it pink so that it was easier to see. It's not that much easier to see, but hey, it's better than a stone button. That would have been way hard. Click the button. There we go. For some reason, the double piston extenders on the world download aren't working totally right for this and one other thing, but they were working just fine on the server. Not sure what that's about, so let's just go through the door. This here is a reference to Grian on the Hermitcraft server, the secret room behind the chest. Thy fate shall be judged by the council. And we come into this beautiful room. Oh my goodness. Cute, adorable little aqua snail with a mustache behind it. Mustache for Mumbo. We got a nether themed one. And we have a mud themed one here on the grand throne of the council. And of course, his spiral of a snail shell is a barrel with adventure token 73. And the barrel says you've been judged worthy of reward. So here's the reward. This was actually also inspired by Frode, someone else on the server who really loved building the snails, so this room was dedicated to him. There is also, if you look up on your way out, another person judging you from the tops, the orange snail up top. The last collectible in all of the castle area and in the chess area is actually really simple. I thought bells were fun, so if you are a person of culture and you ring the bell, this will open up. It's very short, but if you ring the bell, boom, you have adventure token 74 in the back there. Here we are in the final of the 3 areas. First was Venice, second the castle, third the Temple of the Holy Grail, and we start outside with these beautiful canyon arches. There's not a whole lot of detail because the scale is so big, and I've built so many environments and I was rushing to finish. I just had to get it done, so got the shape I liked for the most part and didn't really texture it much. But nonetheless, super big, super pretty, and of course, the Temple Grail is super cool. I took this design from someone on YouTube. I'll make sure to link that below. But extraordinary build. They don't really have a tutorial on how to build it. I just kind of copied their design as best I could, but it looks fantastic. Here we are outside, and there are a few collectibles to find out here. The first one is to come over to the camel. The camel's name is Horse. That's a reference to Indiana Jones. In The Last Crusade, near the end of the movie, Indiana Jones asks Sala to go get a bunch of horses and not camels, and he comes back with camels. So that's why I named it Horse. But if you're a person of culture, you will ride the camel. And if you ride the camel, a calibrated skulk sensor will sense your culture. And you'll come right in to a Mumbo Jumbo dedicated room. So, of course, Mumbo's secret room has a big mustache. It's got the Tango Tech version of Mumbo Jumbo. Redstone everywhere, absolutely. And the Mumbo's patented emergency exit button 7000 model stash. Of course, here in the lectern, we have a little something from Mumbo, congratulating you when you find this. Huzzah! A person of quality, a person of culture, a person of refined taste. Yes, you saw the camel and you just had to write it. It's quite simple, really. Like a rising edge detector, you are marvelous. Mumbo. And in the barrel here on the right, we have adventure token 75. The next adventure token is still out here, but on the outside of the Holy Grail Temple. We're going to walk up the steps here and go off to the left. We come off here, there's actually a pressure plate. If you stand on the pressure plate, you can find adventure token 76. The next collectible also has a secret area. This one is Indiana Jones themed. It's in this back corner over here. So if you come over here, in the orange shulker box says hidden treasure. Adventure token 77. And you're wondering, what do you mean there's a secret room? Well, this is actually sort of a facade. I put a adventure token here so that people thought this was the one that they were looking for that they had to find. However, if you go all the way up against the wall and stand under the trap door and open the shulker box, you'll actually fall through. So this wasn't the only adventure token. You come right in here and have adventure token 78. No one found this one, so it looks like it worked. I fooled everyone with the false adventure token. But this room actually has a little bit of special stuff. If you come here, it's welcome to your favorite game show, pitch meetings. Each set of signs is a humorous description of how I think producers pitched each Indiana Jones film. None of the signs are labeled with the film they are describing. Can you guess which movie each sign set is teasing? That's up to you. Make your guesses. And then the following page will reveal the answers. So you can find the answers. Here they are. But let me just show you what I mean. So for example, here's orange. People love prime age Indiana Jones. Let's show that as a dope intro, but then make him old and espresso depresso for the rest of the movie. So that's just a humorous idea of how Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the 5th and final Indiana Jones film, was pitched. So let's look at the next one. Hear me out. He survives a nuke in a flipping fridge? No? What if he swings on vines with monkeys? Both? All right, bet. That is, of course, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, number 4. This one says people didn't like the last indie film as much. Back to basics, guys. These films were inspired by James Bond, so let's get that actor to be Indy's dad and make this the funniest and most human story yet. Chad. Of course, this is The Last Crusade, the movie we're playing, number 3. This one says, we need to keep the franchise fresh and engaging, so maybe we rip a beating heart out and make human sacrifices. That's PG, right? That, of course, is the second movie, Temple of Doom. And last but not least, okay, but what if we made a B flick for fun as bros, but actually we make the pinnacle of action adventure movies, JK. Unless, and that is Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first movie. So yeah, kind of a unique room. I didn't have time to do a whole bunch of builds when it came to the end of making this level, and I already went way overboard with the other secret rooms, so I thought a trivia room about Indiana Jones would be a fun idea. If we go ahead and go up the scaffolding, we should be able to come straight out of the powdered snow of one of the clouds. All right, the last collectible we have here in this outdoor temple area is actually up here towards the right. You can see it over there. In here is where the collectible is. You need to be able to do some parkour. So if we come up here, we should be able to do a jump right there, and then a jump over here. They're kind of tricky because you have to neo a little bit, not a lot, but just enough that it's difficult for anyone who's not really into parkour. Or I guess I could come up here. This would probably be an easier jump. Yep. That gives us a little bit of height. This one is the really hard jump, I think. Let's go. Jump. Oh. All right. That was a lot tougher than I remember it being, but right here we have Adventure Token 69. Looks like people on our server aren't the best at parkour either. All right, we have 2 adventure tokens left. We're actually going to completely ignore this room and go on for the last 2 adventure tokens and the last artifact. So here we are in the arrow trap area. If you step on these pressure plates, obviously they're going to shoot, and you have to dodge them on the way over. Most people probably were a bit too hectic trying to do that to notice. So we actually don't want to rush past this room because there is an adventure token here. It's actually behind this dispenser right here. And the way to activate it is actually by staying on one of the pressure plates. I'm in creative so that it's easier to show. But if we're standing on this pressure plate, not only does it power this guy to shoot at us, but it powers that stair to retract. You can see once I'm off the pressure plate, the stair is back. So by doing that, you have to jump on all of these and then jump backward to get this one right there. So you have to jump back quick to find adventure token 80 hidden behind the stair. The final artifact that you can find in the Last Crusade level is in the Tango Tech word maze. So if you've seen the playthrough, you probably know you spell out the word Tango Tech, you go down the hall, you're looking for letter A, cool, spell out Tango, and in the ceiling is a green line. This green line, if you follow it, will bring you all the way to the very end of the level. There are some other colored lines in the ceiling, so you can see this one right here is brown. So let's go ahead and follow this one all the way to the end, and we have a barrel here. This says, use to craft an axe, usable on copper in the maze. Get 2 of these sticks. We can use these sticks to craft an axe and use it on copper. So let's go back. I know we saw blue, so let's go ahead and follow the blue. Here we go. And this brings us to the copper. So this is the copper we're going to use the axe on. Yellow is over this way. So if we follow yellow, it's going to bring us all the way to a crafting table. Well, that sucks. We need the iron. So if we get back to the main green line and start going towards the end of the maze, I believe we should see where the path splits one more time. Yep, so here we are at the letter O and it splits. You can see there is a line right here of a different color. This brings us all the way to this barrel with the iron. Grab 3 of those iron. And now we need to go back to where the green line is. Once we're on the green line, we're going to backtrack all the way back to where the crafting table line is. Here's the brown. We're going to take the blue path towards the copper block, and the yellow path coming up here as the crafting table. So here is the crafting table. Let's go ahead and craft our iron axe. Now that we've crafted the iron axe, we can follow the yellow line back all the way to the blue line and use the blue line to get to this block. If you don't know, waxed copper blocks can have the wax removed by axes. So if you go ahead and right click on this, stuff happened. And it got re-waxed. So what's that all about? If we try it one more time, you can see that this block just moved. So you have to stand here with an axe, hit right click so that it can drop you down. Boop. Just like that. We have a little pun here. Nice of you to drop in. One of our moderators is named Dropped to Base. And we have this themed room. It's just themed after all of the same exact colors you saw on the ceiling. And we have Drop's sugar cookie. Every time that drop spawns into the server, a cookie fills everyone's inventory, and if you eat it, you have a chance of exploding. But he has some limited edition ones like this sugar cookie one. It's just a potato. Not sure why he chose that, but it's very valuable. So that is being displayed along with the artifact, the Holy Grail. We can exit out of this iron door, and that brings us to where the end of the level is. You should be familiar with this from the playthrough, but the very last adventure token is actually here by the Leap of Faith. This is recreating the Indiana Jones scene where he has to walk across and it looks like he's going to fall. On the server, it was a lot darker, and so this looked like a bottomless pit. Not so much here, but the last adventure token and last collectible in the level is actually back here under the black concrete. There we go. Adventure token 81 hidden in the black concrete. Whew. Well, that wraps it up for all of the collectibles and secret areas that you can find in the last Crusade level of Titan's Treasure. I hope you enjoyed and found a new way of hiding something. It was super fun to hide all of these, and I've definitely learned a lot about how I want to hide things in the sequel game for the Temple of Doom level coming in this season of Titancraft. If you have any ideas for the next version of the game with the Temple of Doom movie, please leave a comment below. I'd love to see those. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.